what I actually initiated the conversation. I told him I'm pregnant, kupanda boda boda and all that. Please just consider. I wanted a demo. Then we went to the yard and decided to get an airwave. I came to learn later.
Airwave is a car?
Airwave, Honda Airwave. So he decided to get that one because he could also drive it.
Oh yeah. He got something better so that he can also drive it.
Yeah, so that he can also drive it. So because he had a tendency, he would buy me things. When we are not in good terms, takes them, including phones.
Even when you are in marriage?
Yes, he'll get me a very nice phone. We are having issues. We have an issue. I'm just holding my phone. He'll pick it and goes with it. And I have to find an alternative until we get into terms. And then
where does he put it?
He stays with it. He takes it, stays with it.
But it is you are sharing the same bedroom. Where is he putting it?
In his office. He will put it in his office. He will get me a laptop. When you're not in good terms, he's no longer there. So I was used to him buying, and then when you're not in good terms, he takes. Like I always knew, he would give me a credit card to go to the salon, Queen's, Hilton, and all that. When you're not in good terms, mama, panga yourself.
Wow.
Look for someone to fix your hair in a way you can afford. So that was my life for patapotea. Today I have, tomorrow I don't have. Today you will meet me driving, tomorrow I am boarding a Matuu, depending on where we were at in our marriage. And that was so draining.
So even the airwave, he would take it and say, wewe kanyaga Matuu.
Not once had he done that. And it's actually under my name. So in 2017, hell broke loose. I don't know how to tell this without, because my story always ties in, the events, they tie in together. So let me just see where I can bring this up. 2013, of course, it was me, him without the child. 2014, when the child came, actually he put a slap on me in 2013, the first slap, when I was pregnant. And someone told me, this man is going to keep beating you if he has done that. I didn't have anywhere to go. 2014, just before getting my son, I decided after I give birth to this child, I am leaving. Because there was constant either silent treatment. Someone would go without talking to me for like 3 weeks. And when he's not talking to you, he's not doing everything else, including money. You get? So I needed to always go back to him and apologize so that the flow could continue. But by the time I was giving birth to my son, I was like, I don't want this anymore. It's too much. I love talking. I love connection. But this person takes it away at that moment when we are not in terms. And if you look at the issues we are having, they're really petty. It's about him wanting to control me. So when I got my son, with the early stages of the new life with a new baby, the sleepless nights and all that, it was tough still. We fought when my son was 2 months. And what he would do, we would fight, and he wouldn't let it run like for so long. Then he would apologize, and then we continue, and actually even visit his parents and severally. So that was 2014. We started building now in 2014 towards the end of the year. And that's the time he had traveled. At some point he traveled to the UK. On coming back, my phone were free. This moment he gives me his phone to buy something, and then I find conversations how he's planning to have a moment with the ex. Now I was like, so this woman is still there even after having a baby. So I think that's the time now he's like apologetic. He's like, Irene, we can do this. He blocks her everywhere. And I'm like, it's working. So getting to 2015, we hurry up and move into our house in March. When we move into our house in March, so there's that excitement of the new mansion. The family's excited about their child having this beautiful home in Nairobi. And I'm there playing the good wife. So things were seemingly okay. Then now chaos started. The real chaos that happened I conceived. I remember when my son was 6 months, I was already thinking about conceiving the second one. For that, I think that was born purely out of the fear of losing him.
Really?
And not wanting to work on my body, if I can be true to myself, because I was looking. I had already become so big.
Really?
Yeah, I'd become so big, and Chris was totally okay with it. He used to tell me, "You look perfect, even your nakutaka. You are looking."
Surely.
Yeah, I was big, and then now after my son is 6 months, of course, I got the insecurity of my body and all that. So I felt instead of cutting weight and then going back to the pregnancy, why don't I just do this together? And I raised it with him, and he was okay. He was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So in 2015, now I conceived my second born. By the time I was conceiving my second born, the parents were already in our house. So when this new house was built, the parents were living in Nairobi somewhere. So there's a time the place was being done fumigation. The good wife, I took the parents, brought them to my house for 2 days as fumigation is being done. 2 days became a month. A month became 2 months. So that time I'm in campus, I'm pregnant, and then it gets to a point where the mom is the one receiving money for food. I'm just existing in that house. She's the one taking care of everything. House girls are leaving. They're not staying because the house is full and the work is much and the chaos going on. So the mom took over the home. And I remember at this point, I was pregnant. I needed to go to the hospital for checkup. And I also was needing to go to campus. I was not yet done. Chris did not give me any money since the mom came. So all the money was going to the mother. She does everything. So this particular morning...
Fumigation ilikuwa story.
Fumigation ilifanywa, lakini I think they loved the home. They used to say that home is theirs for the longest. I never felt like... At some point, I used to stay in my room. Because at some point I didn't feel like I belonged. The sisters would come, they are talking, they are Kikuyu, all of them. So I don't have a say of what is being cooked. My work is to comply. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So
do you feel like did you feel like you are tribally an outsider?
Yeah, at some point I felt that. Actually, not once or twice did I ask myself, is this happening because I'm Kamba? And also I think because he was supporting me financially, they knew I was paying my school fees. They also viewed me as someone who was taking a lot from his son, from their son or something, or their brother, whatever that was.
Their brother, because they were brothers, they were sisters.
Everyone was there, so...
But I thought that was just about being... I think Western people ndo wanakujanga kwa nyumba ya watu hivyo. We have always thought that it is the Luyas and the Luos that come and set tent in their brother's house. Kumbe hii kitu hata hii Wakikuyu wanafanya.
Wanafanya. Sometimes the parents are sleeping down floor as we are up there, and I'm like, how do you even get to keep having intimacy when your parents...
Shit. You can't moan like you'd like to.
You have to bite the pillow. You have to bite the pillow.
Hey! Oh shit! That was not a good.
Yeah. So this particular night, I think this particular day is what broke the relationship between me and his parents and the family, because he's channeling everything to the mother.
Yeah.
I need to go to school.
Which is pretty disrespectful.
It was not even pretty. That was... You see, disrespect was despise. I think that is more of...
Yes.
Despise.
Yeah.
Spite. Like,
yes, spite, yes.
Yeah.
Like, when you didn't...
I'm worthless.
You are not coming out as a wife.
Yeah. I was like a child, one of his children. That's what I used to feel at times. I didn't have a choice mostly, so I was... one of his children. We could disagree when I challenged his choices or how we could work together. So most of the time, the home ran as he wanted. He was the sole decision maker. You will be consulted, but never really be consulted. It was, I'm consulting you, but I'm not really consulting you. I'm actually informing you or telling you this is the direction we are taking. So that was that marriage. So this particular day, I need to go to hospital. Chris has not left me with any money, but I had some money that could get me out of the house. So a cousin of mine tells me, how is this man doing this to you? Let's go to his office. Let's go to Safaricom. Then he was in Safaricom. Let's go to Safaricom. We go ask them to give you money.
Surely. that was a dangerous move.
What else do I do?
You're stuck.
I'm stuck.
You need a life.
And I can't even go to court. I don't know what it takes. I don't know the processes. That was in 2015, around June, July there.
Who is the president? Uhuru ama ni nani?
Uhuru.
It
was Uhuru that time.
Your in-laws are in
They were in power. Full force. Uhuru was in, they were all in power.
Alikuwa pereka yule mzee Bondo.
In a powerful way. So we go to Safaricom HQ. They tell me if there is anything to happen, you have to come with a court order and all that. No, they are redirecting me to court, which I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, does Chris know that you are at Safaricom?
No. So what I do, I had a number of his friends who worked in Safaricom. I call him, I ask him, where is Chris? He tells me that he's not in that particular office that day. So I tell him what is going on. He gives me 500 shillings to go to hospital for the clinic.
Really?
Yeah.
He actually sympathized with you?
Yeah, and gave me 500 bob. And then told Chris that Irene is here. Do you know what Chris did? Chris called the mother. The next call, I'm at Aga Khan waiting to be checked. I receive a call. Actually the money I needed was for copay, 500.
Because you had insurance from the company?
Yeah. So I was lacking the copay, 500 bob.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm in hospital. Then
the father of the child in your belly.
Yes. A child who came out looking like him exactly. So I'm there. I receive a call from the chief.
Which chief?
Where we live.
Chief?
Yeah, you're being summoned. Come, there is an issue. You went to office to disrupt peace, and now we need to sort this issue. Stop laughing.
You're telling me stories are so bizarre.
Yeah.
The stories are...
Yeah.
So, let's back up. You're going to Chris's office to have the company help you.
Yeah.
Have this man look after you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you don't get help from the office. You reach out to his friend. Okay? And his friend sympathizes with you to give you copay.
Yeah.
Then notifies Chris that your wife was here and this is what's up. But then you proceed to the hospital because that's where you need to be.
Yeah.
In the hospital, you get a call from the chief.
Yes.
Because the mother has gone to the chief.
Him and the mother. So when he had them there, he left the office. So he went home, picked the mother as a witness or something. They went to.
But why the chief?
They wanted. No, let's progress.
Okay.
So I tell the chief,
Yeah.
I'm at the hospital waiting to be seen. So probably we could reschedule. It was on a Tuesday. So we rescheduled to the next day. And Matuu, just to tell you, I've just remembered something that is very interesting. During this period, I'm desperate. I am wanting to hold my marriage together. I am pregnant. I don't want to lose my home. And I don't know where to get help from. Do you know what I did? I went online. So within that week before now, this one to the hospital. So I'd gone online, looked for witch doctors in Kenya.
Shit.
I need help. Everything else is not working.
Irene, you've been needing help for a long time now.
Yeah.
You are suffering.
Yeah. So I go online, witch doctors in Kenya. I dial a number. someone receives a Kikuyu in Mombasa.
You're in law in Mombasa. Damn!
A Kikuyu in Mombasa, I can't tell it's Kikuyu.
This Kikuyu people, surely, do they know anything about Kamote? In Mkora.
Then I tell him what I'm going through.
Shit.
He's really empathizing with me, and then he asks for 25K.
Shit.
I'm like, where can I even get that?
Mimi sina kopay, we unauliza 25K. Sina kopay.
You asked me for 25K?
By the way, guys, this is the book. We are going to be talking about this book. So
You're not here.
it is there. It's already there.
Oh.
They made it work. So this book has got all these stories. She's just giving you a tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. You gotta bet it from this book, Irene Wonder. This name is perfect.
Wow, the one who gave me that.
But it should be a wonder with an A.
No, why? No. No, it's not a wonder with A. A means lost. But I found my way.
Yes.
I always found my way.
And
so
this wonder?
That one means amazing, wonder.
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
Good. Let's
so
go
that's
on.
That.
You're going to the guy says 25,000 or not, or Chris is not going to toe the line.
Exactly. I'm almost like tearing this moment. Mm-hmm. What do I do? Do you know what I do? Mm-hmm. He tells me, look for 5K. The 20K will make Chris pay.
Damn, that was good.
This was a deal. It was a deal.
That was good.
Yeah. I was like, this sounds true.
Yes.
If you're willing to do the work for me, then I get for you the 20K.
Yes,
later.
you in favor of me paying you 20K, you're gonna get it for yourself.
Exactly. I'll show you how to get it.
Let's do it.
So I look for 5K. I borrow my aunt 5,000. I pay. And he gives me 3 days. So he's giving me 3 days. I think we were on Monday. We talked over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. So he's giving me 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for results to happen. I've told him everything. I've given him the name of this guy and all that. So hell is breaking loose. I'm going to
the chief
to the office on Tuesday, on day 2, where I'm waiting for the last day to see magic. This is about to get interesting. So, and I told the chief, I'll see you tomorrow because today I'm at the hospital. Do you know, the next day we go to the chief, all of us in the same car, from the same house. Him, the mother, the dad, who was also living with us at that particular time, and Chris and my son. So we bought the same car. We go to the chief. And my mom was called to come all the way from Masinga.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have these conversations. Chris is saying he cannot live with me anymore. I'm trying to destroy his work where he gets a livelihood, and there's no way he wants to live with me anymore. And what he wants is that he wants my mom to go home with me. So for some time, he teaches me how to become a wife, or for me to think about what I want, and also to return. He had bought me Sony Xperia Z3. It was like, I want you to return the phone, and also leave our son. I had now my firstborn son. He was 1 year and a few months. My mom told them that my daughter did not come to you while pregnant or with any child. And I'm not going to go with her because that's where she belongs right now. Yeah, and so now the lawyer shows up again because I'm in a situation. I need help. I call the lawyer.
Damn! What?
Yeah.
Woo!
It's getting legal.
Woo!
I don't have any legal person to help me. I only know my lawyer, the one who has...
The Range Rover.
Yeah.
We need to fix the nini.
Yeah.
Let me take some honey.
Very much needed. It's still there. I think
imeanguka from the shoulder. From the shoulder too. Yes, evil. You call the lawyer?
I call the lawyer. I'm in trouble. I need help. So the lawyer tells me, that is domestic abuse. No one should be sending you away. So Chris is saying I'm not his wife. Do you know why he's now saying I'm not his wife? The reason why he's saying that is because you remember the marriage certificate with the accountant guy, and when I met him, I was in the process of the divorce.
Then you put a pause on it.
Yeah, so somehow the lawyer is not actually the one who was working on the divorce for me. Was the same lawyer.
The same lawyer for?
The same lawyer is the one who is doing my divorce.
Okay.
With the accountant guy.
So now you are telling him, post that one. We have a bigger problem. This.
And he has been taking his sweet time because probably of his emotional issues with me.
Yeah.
So the divorce is not progressing.
Okay.
And Chris here, I've told him, can you help me with money so that we can invest in a lawyer who can clear this divorce? So Chris keeps saying he will, but it's not really forthcoming. So I'm still caught up in a divorce. So when we are at the chief, he says I'm not his wife. I have a marriage certificate with another man.
Damn.
Yeah. And I swindled him into marriage and I got pregnant. He didn't know that I was married to someone else until I got pregnant. That is what he says.
Damn. A complete lie and fabrication.
Yeah. He says that. And actually, when we were the two of us, I would ask him, are you sure you didn't know I was with a divorce? He would say, I don't want to talk about that. So he'll never even admit. He had chosen to lie to get me out of his life at that particular point. So I talked to the lawyer when we are at the chief's place, and he tells me, Irene, that is domestic violence. If he's saying he's not your husband, then let him go to court, get an order so that you can leave. But he cannot just throw you like that out. You have a child, and all that. So as far as we are concerned right now, you are his wife. So the chief couldn't handle that case because he realized the manipulation, because now I have information from the lawyer.
Yes.
So I'm also firm when I'm speaking to the chief.
Yes.
I told the chief, this matter shouldn't be in your office.
Yes.
These are domestic violence thing. It has to go to the police station. So the chief was scared. This lady now knows her rights.
Yes.
So
how many minutes is remaining?
6 minutes.
The yun sawa.
So we go to the chief at the police station. And this time, even now, his mother is even telling my mother that he can't even sleep in that house. Na ametoka ushago. He's even telling my mother,
that the mother cannot sleep in that house.
The mother, Chris's mother, my then mother-in-law, is telling my own mother
that she cannot sleep in your house.
Yes, she needs to look for somewhere to sleep, and telling her that she'll never be called in-law because of me. So we go to the police. So everyone is fired up. The family is fired up. Everyone is like, no, you cannot force entry in our home. Now, according to them. So when we get to the police station, we find a very mature old mzee who tells the mother, do you know you're the one destroying this home? The mother screams, my blood pressure is going up. Oh, you, what are you doing to me? It becomes chaotic, and the policeman clearly tells Chris, there's no way you're going to send you're going to send Irene out tonight. If you really want her out, go to court, and with that, we can even come help you evict her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's how we go back with my mom. My mom slept in that house, but very early in the morning, she was gone. The next day, Chris goes to look for my ex-husband.
Okay. So, wow.
Yeah.
The accountant.
Yeah. He goes to look for him so that he can show that that's my husband. And he tries to pay him off somehow to make him, but he refuses.
He refuses?
Yeah, he did not engage. This a story he told me much later.
Mm.
The guy now, the ex-husband, told me much later that had happened. So the next day, that is now Thursday, we are just there. My mom has gone. Chris is all over trying to, I don't know what he's appearing to be busy doing things.
He's confused.
Yeah,
he thought that the chief is going to solve it. The chief doesn't solve it. He goes to the police station.
Yeah.
Can't solve it.
Mm-hmm. Now he's like, he needs to go to court. So on Friday morning, Chris holds me in the morning in bed. I was like, am I dreaming? Is that his touch? Did he intend to touch me? And then, or is it that he has touched me by mistake or something? And he's like, Irene, I want us to sort this. I was like, is it the Mombasa thing working?
Which one is it?
What is happening?
Ama hii imetoka Masinga Dam.
Because I knew there was some powers, I had initiated something.
Yes, ile ya 5K.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not so sure what is going on, but somehow, because I had faith in them, I knew that was probably what was working. The fire he had and how he is at this point feels totally different. So I tell him I'm going to the hospital for a scan. I was scheduled to do a scan. He tells me, he gives me money now. He sends me some money in my M-Pesa, go, and then when you come back, we talk. When I'm doing the scan, he keeps checking up on me. How far are you? And I'm feeling a little excitement. Things are working out for me.
Yule Kikuyu ya Mombasa.
He's doing magic.
Hey.
Wow. So we get home, we talk. So I become, now on Saturday, we don't really get to talk on Friday, but Saturday morning we start talking. I give him my rules. Number 1, I'm not going to talk to you when your parents are in this house. So I'm now giving the rules.
Yes.
They have to go so that we can have this conversation. And number 2, I'm not going to have this conversation in this house when they're still here. So let's go elsewhere. But for some reason, Chris's dad was my friend. In a way that we could even talk about the mother and Chris in their absence. But because he was too old, the age difference between the mother and the dad was like 30 years.
Wow.
So the dad was 80-something when the wife is 50-something. And because of age, he had ailments going on, and there were treatments that weren't so right. And that is the reason as to why he was actually wanting to live in our house and not with the wife, because of some mistreatments.
Yeah.
And I will take care of him. We will talk. He will understand what I'm going through, but we will keep it silent so that he doesn't want to be mistreated by the wife, and he doesn't want to be seen like we are in good terms. So we'll quickly switch characters when the
rest
mother-in-law
of the rest
there. But we somehow he could understand what I was going through. So come Sunday, they stayed on Sunday. Chris calls his brother, and they have a meeting in the night, and the parents leave the next day. But as they are leaving, I've not been involved on that table. So they are leaving with hate towards me, that they are seeing it's me who is doing this to them, especially the mother. So when they left, I'm left with Chris. Our life for a moment gets a little exciting. Now we have agreed he's gonna be giving me some monthly money. He doesn't need to be sending me 200, 500.
Yeah.
Now he's giving me like
pesa yako kae nayo kwa mfuko.
Ninunue mboga with money in control. I manage some money.
It's always good to manage some money.
And this time I'm managing 15K.
Yeah, mingi.
Yeah. So the first month everything went well. Then in the next month, I can't really tell you what happened. Things changed. Chris moved out.
Left you in the house?
Yeah. We had agreed on Sundays. He used to go to visit his parents like almost every Sunday. And I would ask him, when are we going to have our family time? Peter, my son, needs to be taken out. So on Sundays, I really wanted to be with him, help me take care. I'm also pregnant. But those are the days he chose to go to his parents.
His parents?
Yes, his parents. I would say now it's his parents.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't see why he kept insisting. So this particular Sunday, he was not honoring our agreement. And I told him, you're not going anywhere. So I went into his, I picked his car keys and got some 3,000 shillings from his pocket. My intention was to take my son out. So when Chris, I took when he was in the shower. So when he comes out, he realizes he doesn't have his car keys and all that. Do you know what he did? He goes, locks all the doors in the house. He locks everywhere, back door, front door, and the gates. So we cannot leave. And then he asked me where are the keys. I tell him I've thrown them out the window. Then he's like, no one is leaving. And he gets into his office in the house and starts working. So around 3-4 p.m., he leaves.
Without his car keys?
Yeah. He leaves. He comes back around 10 p.m. So when he leaves, I'm busy now with my guy in Mombasa. Things are going wrong. What changed? Do you know what they start asking me for? I need to slaughter a goat. And a goat is 6K.
Lakini hao watu wakamote pia wako na ujinga.
But you know what? Do you know the 20K that they told me? Let me just tell you, the 20K was paid, by the way. When the parents left, so I went to Chris with a story that when you are not taking care of me, I accumulated this debt, and it was amounting to, actually I didn't even know how to add extra to 20K. Chris gave me the 20K. And I went directly to M-Pesa and sent to the guys in Mombasa.
Wow.
And I was like, I have settled my debt and everything is okay. I didn't even ask for extra for that exact 20, and they were paid business quisha. A month later now, I tell them things are going haywire. They tell me we need to slaughter a goat. How much is a goat? 6,000.
Oh, you slaughter? Are you the one slaughtering? Ama they're the ones slaughtering?
They're the ones who need to send them money to slaughter.
They slaughter in
They slaughter and appease the gods or something. That's what they were saying, so that this thing cannot break again. But I'm kind of, something is off.
Hii mambo ya goat sasa siingi.
Hii nikaona hapana. This one, I'm not gonna buy into it. So I look for another one.
You went to the
when
internet
Chris
again?
left, and those ones have asked me for 6K, and I thought they would just fix things because we had already paid 25. I felt no. If I'm gonna try with a new one.
What?
I call a new one. They ask for 12,000. At this time, I am not able to do that. So Chris comes at night at around 10 p.m. He packs. He locks me out of the bedroom. He packs. In the morning, 6 a.m., Chris is leaving with a suitcase. And I'm like, what is going on? He leaves. And I get desperate, but I say I'm not gonna follow him up because I don't know what I've done. So
you are still pregnant?
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
Shit.
I'm pregnant with my second born.
Wow.
So he leaves. I try reaching out to. I tell my mom what has happened, and then I ask my mom for 12K. Now I'm ready to pay the 12K. When he has left in the morning, I feel like I'm so desperate. I need him to come back. Do you know I pay 12K? My mom sends me 12K, and immediately I pay these people. Now we are on our own with the house girl and my son and me. So life is moving on, but somehow I'm feeling like probably if he just left me with my son, it could be okay here and he pays the bills. So somehow I'm starting to get into a reality. Probably I don't actually need him here. I could just have a life. If that is what he has chosen, I don't know what I have done. I think I feel, and I've done so much already, I feel like, wacha tu aende. Let him just go as long as he provides. Around Tuesday, my son gets sick, so I ask for medical cards for my son. He sends the friend to bring. I tried talking to him and tell him, could you just tell Chris, even if he's not coming back, at least to provide for us so that we don't just to provide. As he's taking his time off, I don't know what is going on, but I'm willing to just let him be. Can he just provide? Chris comes on Saturday. He actually doesn't bring the card. So we manage. He wasn't so badly off. We manage. On Saturday is when he's bringing the cards. So when he's bringing the cards, he calls the neighbor to come deal with this family matter. And for the first time, the 12K doesn't work out.
Yeah, clearly.
After 3 days, do you know what they tell me? Actually, this was a bit graphic. They told me when I sent the 12, they told me go to the supermarket, get jam, the red palm jam, and a red candle. They were to give me instructions, like I need to go shower, and as I'm showering, I put the jam in between my legs and the water to pour through the jam or something. I did that, and I called them. I told them that is done, so I'm expecting something. Do you know what he tells me to do next?
No.
Actually, first he told me that they are waiting for the 12K was to, how they put it was to get mafuta ya papa whale, papa ni whale, right? From Zanzibar.
I don't know Kiswahili sijui hata.
So
but it sounds
it sounds crazy. Then they tell me now they have it. So what he wanted me to do, now this is why I knew. I said there's no way I was gonna do this. They told me, we want you to do this. Record yourself, touching yourself, caressing yourself, calling his name, then send him that video. I was like, no, this I can't. So I was like, here, 12K?
Yeah, imeenda.
That is gone. They'll always tell you to do something that I know you probably are not able to. So,
yeah, so they say you don't want to follow instructions, wewe utaki usaidizi.
Yeah. Then I tried calling another one in Uganda.
Damn, girl, you are busy.
I was busy. So on Thursday, so for Chris to come on Saturday, on Thursday, I had called a pastor in Umoja, a pastor who had been a part of my life when I was growing up, and he had now grown to a level he had started a church in Umoja. So I called him and I told him I got myself in so much such that I don't know what is happening right now. I don't know why everything is falling apart. He tells me come for deliverance the next day.
Surely.
So I've called on Thursday. He's telling me to go on Friday for deliverance. On Friday morning, I wake up very early.
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using pay bill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming.
So I'm going to church in the morning.
Ukaona mabango?
Nikaona mabango and my safari changed. I got to town, I called that number, I got to town and I got a match to Isili now. The guys were in, the guy, the witch doctor or the person to perform the magic was in Isili. Mimi nikaingia match Isili. I'm going now to find my solution. I go, it was, now this was dramatic. It took time to get over that situation.
Really?
Yeah, because when we got into the...
You can position that mic again in Amsumbua.
I think I'm moving a lot.
No worries. You need to take it all the way to your back so that it doesn't come back this way all the time. Hapo.
So I go there. It's a single room. A single room partitioned. So there is the office and the front office, the back office and the front office.
Yeah, two small rooms that are serving different purposes.
So I get in. There's someone in the waiting room, the waiting area, and they usher me inside the place. When I get in, there is an altar, red, and those witchcraft thing. They are placed there. Even a snake skin or something. So he asks me, the mganga guy, do I switch off the light? Do I call that guy to come sit with you here, or you're okay? I said, I'm okay. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I told him I'm okay. So he puts on the essence. He burns the essence, the stick one. He puts it on. Then he switches off the lights. In that moment, I hear voices. Like some old mzes. Actually, he's apologizing for leaving that small light of the essence burning. You see that little glow was a problem, so he had to put on the lights and switch it off so that we could continue. Now I got scared. I told him, "Can you come?" Then he was like, "Don't worry, you're safe. I am with you." How they orchestrate that, I don't know to date. So he's seated there. I told you the room was partitioned. So when I'm seated, I was against the wall and my legs are touching the other wall. And him is seated somewhere here and the altar is somewhere here. Then those mababus, spirits start speaking. Msichana wangu, tukusaidia aje?
Damn. Pre-recorded shit.
I don't know. It sounded so real. So I tried to speak what is happening there, like huyo mtu tutamkalia, tukalie vile tutamkalia. I'm like, no, I get scared.
You don't want your Chris to be interfered with.
They wanted to show me how they were gonna do it to him. For some reason, I don't know how I was believing that. So I told him no. I told them no. So they asked for. They told me that the lady he is with went to a witch doctor and chucked money equivalent to the hands, the fingers and the toes. This is 10, that is 20. And I need to probably make such an investment to do it, to reverse what has been done. They gave me a story of how what had happened to Chris, trying to show me that he was not operating from his own good senses and all. So I had 1,000 bob on my purse. I told them, I don't have any money. I have to go look for... Actually, now they were asking me for 5K. They were not telling me, we're actually not going to ask you for that. You just give 5K. I told them I need to talk to someone so that they can give me that money. But for now, this is what I have. And I left what I had there. I think I was left with like less than 500 bob after I gave that, between me and poverty at that particular moment. By the time we were done with that, I had promised to send the money. And they told me, when you don't look back, ukitoka kwa mlango usiangalie nyuma, enda umeenda. And that's what I did. So what they were expecting next was the money. Do you know where I went to next? I decided to go to the church. I was like, this bullshit, I am done. There is no more money I'm sending these people.
Ulikanyaga kubwa.
Hey, I go to town. With 200 bob, I had a meal. Nikaingia kwa matatu za buruburu. Umoja, went to the church and the deliverance service was happening. And then I'd been given some herbs to carry in my purse.
Ukatupa kwa barabara?
No, I went, actually when I was on the road, the mganga calls me. And he's telling me, I'm telling him I'm here to receive the money. Then he tells me, ongea na mababu, uambie. So I'm talking to them again on phone. And I'm so scared. You can actually reach me on phone? Like I can talk to those guys, the spirits on phone.
Damn.
I was like, I'm in trouble. I need to get free. So I go to the church, the deliverance service was going on. I had my purse on my lap. Then the prayer started. There's those, I don't know what happens, but my purse vibrated, fell. I was screaming at some point. So much is happening.
Wow.
I think I'm scared and feeling like it's time. So after the deliverance service, I see the pastor. I explain what had gone on, and they told me, everything you've been given, come with it on Sunday. And then the pastor tells me, these people are not going to call you again. We are going to bar them spiritually. And they never called me no, not that day. They called after that Friday, but I did not pick. So on Sunday when I was going, I told them, they are still calling. He told me, they're not going to call again. I don't know what he did. So they never called again. So Chris comes on Saturday after I've been to church on Friday. So somehow I'm feeling confident that things are working and I don't want to engage myself with the witch doctors anymore. I am now reformed. So whatever Chris wants to do. So I'm kind of saying if he was being held with it, he was being made to stay with me by those powers, I'm ready to let him go. Then it means he's not mine. Now that I've gone to church and I'm cleansing myself off, if he wants to go, let him just go. So he comes on Saturday. We talk. So when we're having this conversation, I'm clearly telling Chris, if you really want to go, it's okay, but please provide for us. When he's been asked what's the issue, he's saying I don't respect his parents. That is the reason as to why he left.
Do the neighbors, when the neighbor comes and you're discussing this issue?
Yeah, he keeps saying I don't respect his parents. So he leaves that night. He comes, we have a conversation which doesn't really
help.
He leaves. Sunday I go to church.
Does he leave money for help?
No, he left. He just left. Then on Sunday, I go to church. I take everything. That was the first time I'd gotten into a Matuu with my son. My son had never known a Matuu until that
Airwave
day.
iko wapi?
Airwave was taken. No, the airwave was not yet bought. So that was in 2015 early, before December when the airwave was born. It was 2017 around October. 2015 around October. So when I go to church with my son, after that there's a cousin of mine who was living in Buruburu, so I decided I'm not going back to the house. Let me just stay with her. I was feeling quite devastated. So I tell him I was going to the clinic the next day. So I write to him, I tell him if he could just send my card. He switched jobs. He moved from Safaricom to another place where he is until today, which I am not going to disclose because of that, because he still works there. So I needed the card now. So I write him a text on Sunday. He did not respond. So on Monday, I decided I'm going for the card because the card is ready. It's available. It's just that he has not given me. So I go to the bank assurance where he works. I go ask for the card. They tell me, actually, the cards were given to him. I tell them, probably, we have not seen him yet. But I didn't want to disclose what was going on. Then they were like, they called him and he said that he's going to deliver the cards to me. When they told me he has the cards already, I had to disclose why I don't have them yet. So I told the lady, I need to go to the clinic tomorrow, and I'm not sure if you don't help me, if I'm going to be able to do that. So she decides to call him, and then she tells me if he doesn't bring the cards, come back tomorrow. So I have some muscle. I know I have some backup here. Mm-hmm. So immediately when he was called, he now starts initiating conversations with me. Hi, how is Peter? Now our son. I tell him he's doing well. How are you? I tell him I'm doing well. So that day we go back to our house. Him is not there. So we go back. I remember I was at my cousin's. So we go home. He says that he might not be able to deliver the cards the next day, but he'll send me the money I need to do the scan and everything. So he sends me some 6K that night. So he's seemingly appearing friendly. The next day I go to the clinic. He's constantly checking up on me, sending me the money for lunch and all that. Then tells me we need to talk. I tell him, fine, I'm ready to talk. So we schedule a date for the next day. Now that was on a Tuesday, Wednesday. We go have a talk along Kiambu Road. he tells me, I ask him what is the issue. Me, I don't understand why you're doing this. He still
At what point did you leave the house? Because the last thing we were talking about was that he brought the neighbor.
He brought the neighbor.
And then he left.
Then he left in the night. Then on Sunday,
Yes.
I went to church to take the things I had bought from these wagangas. So when I took them to the church was in Umoja and my cousin's place was in Buruburu.
Okay.
So instead of going home the same day, I spent
You
at
took
my
refuge there at your cousin's.
at my cousins. Then the next day I went to the bank. They told me that. Then I came, picked my son. Took my son and we went home. So all the time, the process of going back home is engaging me and all that. And the next day I'm going to for the clinic.
You don't know where he's sleeping?
I don't know where he's sleeping. I don't know where he lives. So the next day we meet. We have the conversation. At this time, I'm like I'm not even interested. I'm like, you just sort us. So he now appears interested. And the pastor had promised he's going to come back. So now I'm feeling like the pastor is working for me.
So like jumpers, yeah. Mombasa.
Yeah, so the pastor has promised. So I'm seeing now God working.
Yeah.
So Chris, we talk out, and then he's like, you'd like to show me where he's staying. I tell him, for me to see where you're staying, remember my son is with the house girl in the house. I cannot sleep away from there. We need to go home, and you need to see him. It cannot be that you're not home, and then I'm also not, because he was telling me he wants to show me where he's staying.
For what reason?
Of course, he wanted to have an intimate moment with me.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
I believe so. Because he agreed, we went home, and then we didn't even have electricity.
At home? Mm-hmm. Why?
And even the TV had been cut off, DSTV. He's not paying.
He was not paying electricity, it was cut.
Yeah, it was disconnected.
And the DSTV for the kid was not showing.
Yeah, it was off.
And he wanted to take you to his place where he's staying and have sex with you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So we went home. Mm-hmm. My son was already asleep. Then this is the situation here. Then we left with him that same night. We went to where he was apparently was living in Kilimani. He had rented a furnished apartment where he was paying 60K a week. I find this beautiful. I remember when I got into that house, the first thing I told him, I wish I had this space. I had such a house for myself and son. He never forgot that statement. He reminded me much later about it. So we went there. I slept there. The next day, he dropped me. Okay. He dropped me along Kiambu Road to go home.
No electricity.
He sorted that after that night. He sorted the electricity and the...
Is it true that he was coming to Kilimani to sleep with you?
Definitely that's what he wanted.
And did you?
Of course I had to. He's my husband.
I know.
Yeah.
But the circumstances were really...
But I really want... I have no...
Were you trying to give him something so that he can wake up and
yeah. I wanted him back somehow so that he can provide. I wanted him to provide. So I had to play along with what he wanted.
I don't even want to ask how the sex was like.
I don't even remember. Then that tells you what it was like. It was... And then I came to learn later that he in the same house, he had even stayed with the ex. So now what happens? So that next day, he drops me the next day when he's going to work. I go home. In the evening, he looks for me again. We go back to Kilimani. Come the weekend, I tell him, if this is gonna...
Why did he want to have sex with you in Kilimani and not at home?
I don't know. So on Friday, I tell him, if I'm going to spend time with you in Kilimani, now we need to tag my son. So over the weekend, me and my son, Kilimani. We have my son in Kilimani and enjoying this posh environment. Come Sunday, when we are supposed to go back now with my son home, he's like, Irene, if you want me to go back with you, help me pack. I said, no, I want you, if you're sure you want to come back, I want you to do it for you. He tells me, then it means you're not ready. I'm like, no, okay. I pack and I carry his bags to the car. We go home. That was the 3rd of November. I remember that date so well.
The 3rd of November that you went into his place, packed his clothes so that you guys can go home.
Yeah, and we went back home. And now that December is now when I was graduating.
Finally.
Yeah.
Do you know where it all starts? It all starts in Kathiani, right? Where you see where the lawyer comes. Mm-hmm. And this is now, your education is now coming to an end.
Yeah.
Years and years and years later.
Years and years later.
4 men later.
Yeah. Finally, I'm getting it all done. And there's no excitement. There's no joy. I was happy when I received my transcripts and to see that I got a BCom second upper. So to see that I had done so well, regardless, but there was no joy. Because
you have suffered so much to get it.
Yeah. And then on my graduation, he gave me 35K for the graduation party, and he never showed up. He was busy. But I came to learn the reason why he couldn't show up is because this woman was already in his life and about his family as well. So we were living together, but he had distanced himself from me. I don't know what he was telling them. I don't know what he told them was the reason why he was living with me. But he was not there on my graduation date. The man who appeared to have paid my school fees through to get me done with it.
Did not show up to celebrate with you.
He didn't. And my family was there. I was 7 months pregnant. Yeah. And there was just that emptiness. And then that same night, fracas again. He wasn't happy that it was a happy day. There was something, I didn't know whether he wanted me happy or sad. You know, sometimes it's better when you know what someone wants for you. When you're supposed to be happy and you're supposed to be happy, he's not happy. When you're miserable, he tends to, I don't know. I couldn't understand how he wanted me to be like.
Do you think that Chris thought that you brought happiness into his life?
I think he loved the adventurous me and he hated the adventurous me at the same time. What I came to realize is Chris appreciated me to some level, but also he did not at all. Like he wanted to change me into someone else that would fit what he wanted. And that is what we were struggling with mostly.
Into a pet wife?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody who would listen to his mother?
Yes, and someone who would even be okay not working. A housewife. The current wife is a housewife. That is what he wanted. Actually, I look at her life and see what my life could have been to date.
A pet wife?
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't question anything?
Yeah. You have a car, but you can only go with it to the mall and come back to the house.
kununua toilet paper.
Yeah. That is the only valid trip. Is either you are having time with Chris and any other time.
Chris appears to be to be a learned chap.
He's that guy actually was poached to be where he is at, and he's a senior guy right there. Yeah.
Do you think that he looked at you as an equal intellectually?
Probably was scared about. Probably because there seems to be some competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be some competition. He viewed me more of a competitor than
a partner.
Yeah. So he wanted someone who could not. And I wasn't competing. I was trying to make our lives together wonderful. Actually, I've always envisioned having a home or a marriage that could be looked upon, so that people could actually realize that I believe marriages work to date. Yeah, so I kept hoping and wishing that Chris would realize how much I wanted us just to have a beautiful family.
If we are to finish, let's wrap up that conversation. Mm-hmm. At what point did it break down completely? If you were to quick forward, unaona vile unafinyanga tape.
Yeah.
At what point did it break down completely that you had to now say, Chris, it's been a while. It's a wrap. Let's forget about it.
I knew I was gonna leave when I was still inside the marriage. I knew the marriage had died in 2017. But I couldn't leave. I didn't have the means to. And in 2018, there was so much chaos. It's captured in the book with the courts and all that, and the prison thing and all that. Then, because of the chaos we were having at that particular point and the cases, it was appearing to be winning over me. He had gone to court saying I'm a drunkard, I'm not a capable mother. And he had created evidence around me to some level.
So that he can have the child custody.
Yeah, and live with my kids and raise my kids with the other wife. That was his plan. So in 2018, I was living with him partly. The details are in the book, but that's when I started going through my spiritual awakening. Because I was tired of suffering, and I knew I needed to liberate myself from this state of constant chase. I knew that there must be a better way of living. And that's when I got deeper into reading. I started learning from my first person who opened my eyes. The first person who opened my eyes was Irene Wonder in a centonomy class we had where we were talking about abundance. And then he talked about Les Brown. I listened to him. And then after that, after Les Brown, I started learning from Eckhart Tolle. After Eckhart, I got to Bob Proctor. After Bob Proctor, I got to, what is this other guy? Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza. So now I became a seeker, reading books, trying to understand why is everything like this. And now in 2018, that's when I was so sure. This marriage, and I was at peace. I knew it was not gonna go anywhere. 2018, but still I did not leave. He left me.
Again.
He left me again. Actually, in 2018 January, he left me in the mansion empty and took the kids, and they went to live in an apartment. So I was left in an empty house. I watched them leave. I was running like a mad woman on the streets, like I want my kids, and my kids were sick at that particular point. And he had a court order to make him move. He had gone to court to say, I come home late every night drunk. I'm not a worthy mother to the children. So he had a document that I was not aware until that moment when movers came and they're carrying things. I am watching them. I am screaming, crying. I don't know what to do. So at that point, I was taken in by a friend who was living in Ruaka. So he went, got an apartment in Garden Estate, just close to our home. So I stayed for 1 month without seeing my kids. And then I talked to my mom. My mom reached out to him, and he was like, we could have a conversation. I met my kids, and I was like, I didn't want to be away from them again. I felt like I was just ready to do what Chris wanted. So I went to live. I joined them in the apartment. He became friendly. So we went to live together in the apartment.
You closed your mansion.
The mansion was left empty.
What a tragedy. What a tragedy.
Do you know what when he left me there, do you know what he did to make sure I don't live there? He disconnected the water pump.
Oh my God.
So that I couldn't live there.
If I'm not living there, you're also not living there.
Yeah, so he left me there knowing that I cannot survive there. So, and there's no way I could stay there. My kids, I couldn't. It was such a big house. He only left a bed where my things were, at that point we were actually not in the same bedrooms. So, and so many other things that happened prior to that, including taking my clothes to my mom to show that so much happened. Fast forward, they're in the book.
Yes.
Yeah. So, there's a time, just to close this up,
Yeah.
In 2017, towards the end of the year, when he took my clothes to my mom to show that I was not living there. Remember, he had these court orders he had kept in the pocket. So when he served me, he took all my clothes to my mom. His intention was, because there are no clothes there, I'm going to go home, and then he can say I left the children with him so that he can assume custody. But I did not leave. The lawyer helped me get a protection order.
You are the range guy.
Mm-hmm. He helped me get a protection order where he was instructed not to throw me out of the house and all that. So when he got that, that's when he went to get another order to say how overdrunk I was, and I had this order that was protecting me, and he needed to leave with the kids. That was done ex parte. And he moved out. So when he moved out, my court order was for the function of me being with my kids in the house. And they are gone. So I didn't really see how I could even stay in that house. Other lawyers advised me, or other people told me that, Irene, just stay in that house, then build yourself, your kids will come back. Someone has disconnected, but there's no way Chris was going to allow me to live in that house. So I had just given up the fight. Then when I realized our marriage was not going anywhere, I withdrew that order. I withdrew the court order, and he was like, we are going to move back to that house together. My friend, he took the other lady to that house. And then one evening it's in the book, when I used to host people, Kigwa Ridge, there was some space there I used to rent, have free talks with people. One night, I'm so excited, I'm going home to find Chris and the children are not home. That time, you're in a mansion, you're in a house where you're paying 50K. He has moved with kids' beds and his clothes. The seat that was in that house was mine. When he had moved out, I'd thought of starting my life. So my mom had helped me get a seat, and I'd put it in that, our house, the one we had built, so that I could start staying there. But when I withdrew the order, and that wasn't working anymore, so he called me one moment and he told me, Irene, I'm renovating this house, so the seat is gonna be brought where? To where we are in, so that the place can be renovated. But something felt off when he said that. So I hold this event, I come home, nothing. My kids and him are not there. And I'm like, this is another journey that is just starting. But at that point, I'd given up to fight. I didn't even have the energy, not the money. But the good thing, in 2018, I got an online job that was, if I worked so much, I would get 30K. But I had to fully work. So I had some little money that I would say I have at that particular point. So when he moved out, I asked him whether I should carry the things, because I'm not able to pay this house. Can I carry what you left? And he was like, yeah, you can. So I looked for a house around Kamakis. I'm making 28K. I got a one bedroom of 20,000.
I can only imagine.
That naive nature of thinking. I get there. Then a lawyer tells me he doesn't have custody. What he has is the kids are temporarily with him, so you can also file for custody. I filed for custody hoping to get ex parte orders. It doesn't work. Somehow my orders, every time I filed for an ex parte, we were given a hearing for some reason. So I get access. When I get access, the kids come to visit me, and they don't want to go back. So I ran to a child psychologist who tells me, who establishes that my kids, of course, they will be going through some stuff. Then I decided I'm not giving them back, and I flee from Nairobi. I stopped my life. I stopped everything, switch off my phones, and flee to Embu, to my aunt's place, to start over, hoping I'm not going to be found, or at least even if he finds me, he'll be kind enough to just let me move on and have my life with my children. So that was December 2018. So I was kind of sure I'm never going back to this guy. And that was the time now I was trying to rekindle with the lawyer. Like, hey, can you just come into my life, do for me these cases? I'm going to be your wife now. I am ready, and support me and my children. I'm even gonna give you one more child.
I think this lawyer has fought for you.
Yeah, he has fought for me. So, but this time he's also not really playing into my game. So he's showing me we are together, but we are not. I can still feel I'm alone as much as I'm trying to show him that we could be something. So all this is out of desperation of wanting a way out where I can just be stable and just move on with my life without so many hassles. I'm trying to do, I started my YouTube channel. I'm trying to talk to people. I'm going live. Vitu zinagonga Muhammad.
I think we will leave those ones for the book.
Yeah. So now, just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
After my arrest in 2019, February, I went online. Just when I was arrested, the ones who came to arrest me, there was one police lady who was really moved by what I told her. I explained to her what was going on. She was like, she asked me, Irene, how can I help you? I told her, just give me 1 minute. Just give me a moment to record and share this with the world so that they can know what is going on. Because I was being taken to the police station. I didn't know. I was being taken in for being in contempt of the court order, which was saying I had consented. He had child custody by consent, meaning I consented and agreed.
And signed off.
Yes, which had never happened, and I was not even ready to do such a thing. So she told me, okay, fine. I'll pretend I'm going to the washroom, then you do your video. I went live on Kilmani Mom's Uncensored. That time it was really...
Yeah, it was something.
It was something. So I went live. I just said everything I needed to say, and the video went viral. It got to the key people. It even got to the magistrates. So when we were going out to the hearing, the magistrate who was handling the case had heard of this particular matter. And I was very candid in the video that I'd even mentioned the judges who had been the magistrates who had been involved in this whole thing. So the
people that are tormenting you, they're using even the law to torment you.
Exactly. And I'm happy that magistrate, I came to learn, like, I think she even lost her job. Yeah. So when Chris saw things were turning, he came to me, Irene, can we work this out one more time? And this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to get you a house. And then I'll be visiting and I'll be living in 2 homes. I was like, what?
Chris. Chris. Hi, Chris. Surely, Chris. Chris. Oh, Chris. Ooh.
I laughed. I was like, is that what you called me here to tell me? Then I talked to another friend of mine. Do you know what he told me? Irene, with how things are looking, you have no choice. You have to go back. So he told me, Irene, go back. Ensure you withdraw all these cases. Because I had even been forced to file a case now in the High Court because there was a ruling already in the Magistrate Court. Withdraw all these cases, then you can start a clean slate. So Chris was, that Valentine's, February, the Valentine's of 2019 even, took me out, flowers and all. And that time my kids, at that moment to go dinner out, the wife is the one with my kids. So she's also firing. She's noticing Chris is coming back to me. She's sending messages, angry messages. I'm taking care of your children.
Now, unanitapeli. You are torturing me and I'm taking care of your children.
Yeah.
Shit.
And you know, at some point, she even, how I got Chris back fully now. During those negotiations, she got so bitter. And these are things, he gave me his smartwatch. So I was reading the messages to see what's going on. He was trying to impress me, so he was giving me, and this time he's coming back, he has even bought a new car, and he's even allowing me to use it. No, now he has, which he drives to date. He has I don't want to mention the car, but he has a bigger level car now.
Yes. Ile panda kama ngazi.
Ile ya kupanda. Amenunua ya kupanda. So, the court orders, we do arbitration.
Yeah.
That's what I'd asked for.
Yeah.
And Chris was adamant. So I was like, why is it you say you want me back, but since you don't want me back, you don't want to give me back my children. And I'm wondering, what does this woman have on Chris? I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to be with me and is actually willing to do everything. But why is he still sticking with her? And why doesn't he want to give me my children? Remember, now I'd moved to Embu. My things are still in Embu. So by the time, so somehow through those conversations, somehow we get to a point where he helps me move back to Nairobi. And we go to court, and I say I'm happy. My kids are in my house now. He brought the kids during my son's birthday. They coincided. Then at the same time, I'm reading a message from that other lady.
To you?
No, to Chris.
Oh, he left you the watch. The watch had his details.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a message.
The watch, he did not disconnect the watch from his phone.
Yeah. So he gave me his watch. So I'm reading everything.
He doesn't know.
He had not known. So I'm taking screenshots of everything I'm seeing to work as evidence. How she's saying how these kids are bothering her. How she has even threatened to kill him. She had even caught a knife on him at some point. That's how Chris came back to me. So I give him conditions. If we are going back together and I'm not going to my house now, so what I want us to do, let's get into a space where we can stay momentarily, which is an equivalent of my house as she leaves, because Chris promises me that she's going to leave my house. And that's how we end up living in Garden City Mall. Yeah, I had 2019, I was on holiday. But I knew this marriage was going to end. I knew there was no marriage. Actually, after we started living together with Chris, I learned this other lady is pregnant. And I'm also trying to get pregnant.
With your third child?
Yeah, with my third child. But now, I told God, it's also mentioned there, if I'm going to get pregnant, please give me a job. A real one. The other one, the contract ended. So give me a real job because I'm feeling like I want to get pregnant.
With Chris?
Yeah.
Let's wrap up.
I got pregnant. I was on holiday for a while. And
oh, man.
Yeah, so I left in 2021. And that's another tough life. It's captured there. And now there are so many things in between where I was able to switch off situations that looked tormenting into my greater progress, because I started a marketing company in the process, which was making money.
Yeah.
I also now got a solid job where I work to date.
Who is James Karundu?
James Karundu.
You told me about him. He's the coach.
Yeah.
He's your coach.
Yeah.
So, while we finish, I want to read the introduction to this book to the audience.
All right.
Have you ever felt stuck, yearning for a life filled with purpose and joy? This book is your roadmap to self-discovery, a path paved with real-life stories, powerful insights, and practical tools to ignite your transformation. Welcome to Inward Journey that invites you to reflect and reclaim your power. This book is designed to work like magic from the very first stage, bringing about realizations and the light bulb moments that can transform your life instantly. Irene has talked about her story. Much of that story is captured in this book called Unveiling Blessings in Disguise, The Unseen Doorways to Your Freedom and Success. Please buy this book. I just want your audience to buy this book and read it.
Yeah.
But even if you don't want to read this book, please still buy it.
Yeah.
You know? Because I feel like it's a book that is full of gem. Yeah. Yeah. And you coming and telling your story, I think this story is happening somewhere right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think what Irene is saying is that when there is time to leave, you leave.
Exactly.
Because you might postpone it, and it just hurts you, keeps hurting you, and that's not good for your life. So I really, really want to thank you, Irene, for telling your story. This is the longest story that I've ever had at Dialogues with Jagero, and I hope that's going to impact you, the audience, positively. It's been 4 hours since we started. 4 hours, right?
Around, I think it's 5 hours.
About 5 hours, So I hope you enjoy this episode. I don't even know whether it's going to be episode or episodes.
This needs parts.
Yeah. So please consider subscribing. If you want to tell your story, you're welcome to Dialogues with Jagero. And until another episode, bye for now.